Good morning, Fabian Onetti for Winston Capital, and we're trying a new format for our weekend recordings. We are going to launch it Saturday very early at 6 a.m. So you have it in time, you have it all weekend. Usually I've been doing it as much as I can, on different times, but this thing, we think you have a better chance to do it over the weekend. So then you tell us what do you think about it. So we're going to cover the week of May 11 to May 15. We got Boeing, Venezuela. We're going to talk about grains, inflation. We have a lot of numbers there, and also that affected the Fed and company. Retail sales, a lot of noise with Brexit, the big IPO, Uber and Lyft that is coming, Facebook that it went down with Instagram and WhatsApp for a few hours, and Apple. So let's do very quickly. Clearly, the big thing everywhere. Boeing, after the second tragedy, they finally, one country here, another country over there, finally the FAA grounded all 737 MAX, suspecting that there is an issue with the software to stall stabilization, something like that. The stock was, as I say, was down 15%, and now the plane is not flying. This is the best-selling model. It's one of the most sold planes in the world. Currently, there are about 370 planes flying, although the backlog is huge because, again, this is a very popular model. However, speaking with some aviation experts that we consulted at Winston, it seems that it's a software issue that is a combination of training and software. Apparently, because they changed the new engines of the plane, it altered a little bit the center of gravity, so they have to move the landing gear backwards, and that tilted some of the flying characteristics of the plane, but it's been corrected. So again, it looks like it's more of a combination of software and some issue of training, nothing that apparently is very dramatic. The stock is down. We have recommended, maybe to sell some puts and take advantage of the big volatility, or buy it outright. Venezuela, we didn't have a lot of news this week, other than that the U.S. personnel was ordered to leave the country after the serious disruptions that the blackout created. The government blamed the United States for a cyber attack. No one believes that. It was basically, by most evaluations, an issue of lack of maintenance, money that was supposed to be used to fix the problem that was not used. It was interesting, an interview in the Financial Times to Vice President Moro of Brazil, the former general, former military attaché to Caracas in the days of Chavez. So a guy that is a professional army, professional military, and he was in Caracas. First, he said that they completely support the Guaido government, and he was flying to China and Russia to discuss this. Brazil wants to have a change and transition, and he says, but it's an issue for the army to kind of change their stance or their view. And the other thing that he commented is like, even if we go into a very anarchic situation or a completely out of control situation in Venezuela, he doesn't think that the Venezuelan army has today the operational capability to work. It's been decimated in terms of hardware and material, and it's not in good shape. That's very interesting. Again, this comes from a top general from Brazil that lived there and basically was in touch with personnel there. The grain complex worldwide keeps going down. Soybeans, corn, wheat, all down, new lows for the year. And again, remember, commodities, we had a good rally in copper and oil that so far is holding, but the grains are down. Mainly record harvest in Brazil, Argentina, and also very good harvest in the US. So the demand is there, but it looks like there is a lot of supply. And inflation, we have, PPI, CPI, both cases below estimates, 1.5 on CPI. Market was expecting 1.6, 2.1, the core expecting 2.2. Also, the core was down. Very interesting. Hospital care, healthcare were the costs that were down. That is kind of interesting because, as you know, over the last years, the cost of healthcare had increased a lot, have worried the people a lot. So that's something good. Cars and clothing also went down. Very interesting. If you look at 10-year rates, 2.6 in the US, 1.7 in Canada, negative 0.05 in Japan. 0.01 in Germany. So there is no inflation, there is nothing there, just to basically, make the central banks to move ahead with raising rates. Jerome Powell was in 60 Minutes over the weekend and basically said, the Fed is going to be patient and flexible. So really the other way around, we need to see that the data shows some inflation or growth. So far we have a little bit of a deceleration, but that's where we are. So nothing for now. Also, we have good retail sales. Brexit was sort of a comedy or a scandal or a tragicomedy, whatever you want to call it. Theresa May did not get this new deal approved by the Congress by a huge margin. It was he needed 317 votes. He got 242, 391 against. And then after that, the Parliament voted that the UK cannot leave Brexit on a hard Brexit, cannot leave without a deal. It has to get a deal. So now the option is for Theresa May to go back and get an extension and negotiate more with Brussels. Brussels has to approve that. The good part is, like, at the end, Theresa May is still there. They don't have the votes to oust her, so she's still in control. She's still running the boat. As bad as it is, she's still in command. So, nothing happened over the week after so much coming and going. And basically, we're back to ask for an extension and see what happened. We have the race of the giants to go public, Uber and Lyft. Both announced that they're coming public as soon as next month. Big companies on transportation. Uber sold part of its division. Give me 1 second. Part of their self-driving cars division, in a way to put evaluation on that, but also in a way, if the business is so good, why you sell before the IPO? I have my doubts that this whole self-driving business is really going very hard ahead. We'll see to that. We'll see what's the story. But anyways, and the other thing that's interesting is, like, Uber. Now we will see the numbers. Now we see how these companies do, how these companies are doing. And the very interesting point is, like, Uber has had a sort of a meteoric rise, but also a lot of controversy. Remember, the CEO left. They have a lot of issues. They were doing self-driving cars without permits and all that. Lyft has been more corporate, quietly going hard, moving up. So we'll see. Again, we'll see both companies, the numbers, the profitability, and all that. And remember, last year we had Spotify, which was a big number, and then at the end didn't do a lot. Over the week, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp were down for a few hours. Apparently, the issue there was that, according to our technology expert, Marcelo Lozano, that the company is unifying the messaging platforms all in WhatsApp, all in one. I think that's very positive, very interesting. But apparently, when they tried to run the system, it failed. So we're just, the system went down and they set them back. But eventually, it looks like that's what they're going to try to do, to have one single messaging platform, which also not only going to save money, but it's going to be very powerful in terms of, getting information, your WhatsApp, what you're doing, you get advertising, etc., etc. Finally, Morgan Stanley put a report on Apple saying that sales in China are doing better, stabilized. Remember, Apple is China's second market for Apple after the United States. So on that news and, a better tone in the markets, Apple was up 6% on the week. Slowly, the way we like it. Remember, Apple is in our fresh money buys, one of our favorites. Thank you very much for our clients every day, 8:45 a.m. New York time, talking about the markets. If you want more information, you can always visit our page, winston.capital. Have a great week.